Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hey everybody, it's Anita with Better Love Movement. So I am back this week with another podcast episode. If you are new to the podcast, I just want to say welcome and thank you so much for joining me. I have been doing this podcast for a little over a year now and thought this might be a really good time to introduce myself, to tell you a little bit about me and why I am doing what I'm doing. So my name is Anita Stoudemire. I'm a licensed professional therapist. I am also a dating and relationship coach and Instagram influencer. I am very passionate about all things dating and relationships, especially for women. And one of the things that I really pride myself on when I am working with my female clients is teaching them all about feminine energy and how to embrace their feminine side in dating and relationships to have the relationships that they want. So I am a femininity expert. That is the approach that I use with most of the women that I coach, as I believe that most women are predominantly feminine energy. We've been pushed into this masculine energy, but I believe deep down most women are naturally feminine energy women. And so I'm really passionate about what I do. I work as a therapist full-time, and I also work as a dating and relationship coach part-time and do most of my work online. I create courses. And I have this podcast every week. I have a YouTube channel and my platforms on Instagram and Facebook. And I just love interacting with people and hopefully helping to shift paradigms that people have about dating and relationships. So that's a little bit about me. I am a mom. I have three teenagers. Well, one of them is 20 now. And a pug named Tony, and I have a cat named Jake. And we just, we have a pretty amazing life here in Richmond, Virginia. So life is good. We are still under a shelter-in-place order right now. So I believe this is week 8. We're going into week 8 of the shutdown. And it has truly become the new norm for us. So, but otherwise, we're doing pretty good. Getting a lot done here at my house. So this week, I wanted to bring you an episode that I have wanted to do for a few weeks now and thought, okay, this week I'm going to do it. It is episode 78, and it is entitled, Don't Treat Him Like He's Going to Hurt You. And I'm going to dedicate this episode to me. The me that existed over 22 years ago. And to some extent, can still be triggered into this now. So I got to be careful about this one. But this is what I would tell my 24, 25-year-old self. So that's who I'm going to talk to today as I'm doing this podcast episode. And some of you out there may find that this episode is for you too. So you can listen in as I'm talking to my 24, 25-year-old self. So, have you ever dated a man and the relationship didn't work out? Whether he did something, he cheated, he lied, he was non-committal, whether you all went in different directions. He took a job elsewhere, and you couldn't make a long distance relationship work. For whatever reason, the relationship ended and you were hurt, maybe even a little bitter. And so you started to form these ideas in your mind about men and about love and relationships. And so if you're like me and you've done that more than a few times, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 times, where you've been in relationships or marriages and they didn't work out. And so it's pretty safe to say that you would have some thoughts or ideas about men and about dating or relationships, maybe some negative thoughts. You would have some mindsets about relationships that don't work out. Some people would call it baggage, right? You'd have some baggage from all of those experiences and everything that happened in every one of those relationships. You'd have a lot of baggage. And so what do you do with all that baggage? Well, if you were like me, you are going to use it to keep yourself from getting hurt in the next relationship. And the bad news about that is you are going to do some pretty odd things, some pretty strange things with the new men that you date or the new man that you're in a relationship with, because now you have all of this previous experience, very negative experience. So you've got to be on the lookout, right? You've got to be on the lookout for the signs of a cheater. If a man is lying, if he's non-committal, if he's abusive, if he's narcissistic, you now have got to be on the lookout for this type of behavior. So chances are pretty good that you are in kind of a high alert state. You may even be in a state of fear, dare I say it, right? You may be afraid of going out there and dating again or trying to be in a relationship again with someone. You may have this style of interrogating men, like this boom, 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 these questions one after the other, or this style of, okay, I got to find out everything I need to know in the first 3 dates, because if this thing has too many red flags, it's over. And I will not have wasted any of my time. Other than the 3 dates that we went on, I will not waste months or years on this situation. I've got to find out within the first 3 dates, is this guy a cheater? Is this guy a liar? Is this guy non-committal? Is this guy abusive? Is he narcissistic? And so that's no fun. Going out with that person isn't fun. That person who is anxious, who is fearful, who is interrogating you at every turn, who is not relaxed and not enjoying the present moment, that is no fun. That is a person who lacks confidence. That's a person who, it just isn't a good look. And so here's the thing you can be sure of, that this guy, energetically, you're all over the place. And this guy is picking up on that. He does not feel trusted by you. He does not feel accepted by you. He does not feel good about being around you. You're not fun. He is losing whatever attraction he had to you initially, because now you're starting to do this crazy making thing, and pretty soon he's out of there because of this way that you're acting, because of all this fear in you. So a lot of times we as women, myself included, because we've had these very negative experiences with men, we don't properly heal. And remember, healing is going to take 2 things. It's going to take time and it's going to take work. So we don't properly heal. We don't unpack the relationship or the dating situation we were in. We don't get the lesson from it. And we either get out there too soon, you start dating again too soon, and before you know it, that fear pops up in us, and we are acting as if the man is guilty and we don't even really know him. And so here's the thing. The new guy that you are dating now is not the old guy. He is not the old boyfriend, the old husband. He is a new guy. But if you have not cleared the negative thoughts and feelings about the old guy, if you have not healed, if you have not learned that lesson, there will be all this residual stuff that will come into the new situation. And again, before you know it, he's going to get the very insecure you. He's not going to get the confident, fun, funny you. He is going to get the you that is incredibly insecure. And there's nothing attractive about that. If you're acting like a person who's going to get hurt, trust and believe energetically, he's going to sense that. And that's either going to make him do one of two things. He's either going to take advantage of that, or he's going to run away from that, depending on what kind of guy he is. And so this is your work to do. You've got to heal what's going on inside of you. You've got to properly unpack everything that has happened in each of these relationships. You've got to see patterns. You've got to bring what's in the subconscious to your conscious mind and see that if you are attracting the same type of men over and over and over, there's a part in that you play. And so you've got to bring that from a subconscious thing, because for most of us it is, into your consciousness. You've got to bring it into the light and really look at it and ask yourself, why am I choosing these type of men over and over and over? Or why am I not clearly seeing things in the first maybe 2 or 3 months? I'm waiting until we're 6 months or a year in. What's going on inside of me? That's really the question I want you to answer. And then 2, sometimes these very bad, negative experiences will have you believing that men are bad, that all men are bad. They all are cheaters or liars, or that all men, are non-committal, that all men they're users, right? They use you. They're bad communicators. They hurt you. They waste your time. These mindsets will have you thinking in this all or nothing type of thinking. But the truth is that is not the case. And let me tell you, I've dated men. I've dated some really, should I use the word bad or just, emotionally unavailable men, some narcissistic men. I've dated some men who were confused, dated some men who were, they had their issues. And at the same time, I've also dated a lot of really great men. So I believe I have a great perspective on men in general because I've kind of seen a little bit of everything. I've seen a little bit of everything. And for the most part, I really believe that men are good, that it is not their intention to hurt you on purpose, that men can be clueless, but they're not stupid, that men want to get things right, but don't always know how. They're processing through a lot of hurt and pain just like we are. And that men also have had a lot of negative experiences, and that in turn shapes their mindset about women. So a lot of the same thing that we're going through, they're going through. And so it's really, really important that we understand that healing has to take place on our part, that if we show up in this new situation with these ideas or attitudes that, I've got to protect myself at all costs. You are operating out of fear. You're not operating from a good, healthy space. And let me tell you something. If you know anything about this confirmation bias, that's basically where you've already made up your mind about something. You've already decided this is what it is, this is what could happen, this is what always happens to me, or whatever your thinking is. Your mind is now going to look for things out there in the world that confirm what you've already decided. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You are now going to co-create the very thing that you say you don't want. And so working with a coach, this is what is so great about working with a coach or even a therapist, is so wonderful because it helps you to clearly see some of these love blocks. It helps you to see some of these mindsets that you have and helps you to shift those into something that's actually going to work for you, that's going to get you what it is you say you want. But many of us, myself included, for years, I was thinking about what I didn't want. I was talking about what I didn't want. I was locked in to this mindset of, something that I didn't want, but I actually believed was true for all men or all relationships or what have you. And only in the last few years have I just cracked that wide open, broken that down, and come to terms with, this is me. This is something going on in me. This is a mindset shift that has to happen, a paradigm shift that has to happen. I can't continue to operate in these same ways and think I'm going to get something different. Something has to change. So it started with affirmations. It started with me just writing down what I wanted to be true and repeating that over and over and over, writing it over and over and over. And then looking for the confirmation bias of that. Because here's the thing, ladies, if all men are so awful, so terrible, so narcissistic, so selfish, so whatever, fill in the blank, how do you explain that there are healthy marriages? How do you explain that there are healthy relationships? And even if you looked at the statistics for, marriages ending, they say it's 50%? What about the other 50%? So there must be men out there that know how to communicate, that don't lie, that don't intentionally hurt you, that aren't narcissistic, that aren't selfish, that aren't cheaters or users or whatever. There obviously are men out there that are capable of having a healthy long-term relationship. And so those are your guys. That's all I want you to see. That's all I want you to expect. Because part of this is I actually want you to walk out there into the world after getting everything you need to heal and grow. I want you to walk out there into the world and actually expect that. I want you to go on a date with the expectation that this man is a good man, that he has every intention on providing and protecting you, that he has every intention on doing something to please you, that he wants to see you happy. That is what I want the mindset shift to be, instead of the opposite, which is don't treat him like he's going to hurt you. Don't feel like every situation requires that you step into this armor or that you become this crazy making anxious person that says, okay, I have to get to know everything I need to know about this person in 3 dates so I can determine if I'm going to move forward or not, because if I'm not, then that's 3 dates, then at least I don't waste more time than that. And this person, I can see all these red flags and I'm just going to get rid of this person before they hurt me. No, I actually want you to date for fun. I want you to relax. I want you to spend time with this person, feeling their energy. And that's more than just words. Like, that's a thing that I'm now coming to, is that I'm using a little less words and I'm using more, quiet reflection when I'm out with a man. I'm using more just feeling the energy. I'm doing less talking and more feeling of his energy. And then, even more importantly, feeling my energy. How do I feel being out with this man? That's even more important. So it's really, really important that you reflect. Do some self-reflection about this, because I know this was me, and I can still be triggered into this behavior. And so now that I am consciously aware of it, I have to work really hard not to fall into this again, not to fall into whatever has happened in the past and thinking I'm going to drag it into the present. I'm not. Okay, this man who is sitting before me is not any of the men that I've dated before. And guess what? I am not looking for the behaviors of any of the men that I've dated before. I have my don't wants list, and so that's kind of in the back of my mind. But other than that, I am enjoying myself. I am listening more than I'm talking. I am feeling the energy. I'm asking myself how I feel with this person. I'm relaxed. I'm having fun. That's it. I am confident. I am sure of myself, and that's it. That's what I want you to lead with. But this energy of, I need to protect myself. I need to make sure this man doesn't hurt me. I need to make sure that he doesn't get over on me. I need to make sure that I'm doing everything that I know how to do to make sure this guy doesn't, make me feel bad or any kind of way that I felt in previous relationships that wasn't good. Right? No, you go out. You go on dates, you go on outings, you talk on the phone, you text, you get to know, and preferably you're going to do that with more than one man, because we are taking applications, right? We are the CEO of our company, of our life, and we don't just advertise and then the first person who walks in and has their resume, we don't just hire them. Like, we interview them. And we interview others, because more than one person is going to apply for the job. Interview others. Go on 2 or 3 interviews. Like nowadays, they have 2 or 3 interviews, right? First interview, second interview, third interview. If by 3 dates you decide that, there's nothing that you're curious about with this person, that you don't want to get to know more about them, you're not thinking about them when you're not with them, there's nothing interesting about them to you, then okay, you're done. And you will continue to take applicants until you find one that you feel is a good fit for your company. That you find one that you're like, okay, let's continue to do this. Let's see how this works out. And when this gentleman wants you to be exclusive and committed, sure, okay. And if that's what you want to, then you may do that. Now, until then, I say, keep dating, keep going out, keep getting to know men, because again, I don't want you to put all your eggs in that basket of just dating this one person. He has not asked you to be exclusive or committed, and you find out, okay, well, he's dating other people, or he's talking to other people, or, this isn't anything serious. If you are looking for something serious, if you're looking for something exclusive and committed, then yes, I want you to date more than one man until that man asks you to be exclusive and committed. And remember, that's a conversation with words. There are no assumptions, ladies. I don't care what family member you've met. I don't care if you've met his friends, or if you've been up to his job, or you've been over to his house, or he's been over to, I don't care about any of that. Until you have a conversation, you are not exclusive and committed. Okay? That requires words. Assumptions will get you into trouble every time. Been there, done that. And what we think of as, oh my gosh, he did this, he bought that, he introduced me to this person, or he took me to this, or we went here, it means something to us. But I'm going to be frank, it doesn't mean anything to them. There are a lot of men out here who will introduce you to their children, or their mother, or their grandmother, or their aunt, or their dad, or their best friend. So what? until you have a conversation with words, you are not exclusive and committed. And in my world, until you're exclusive and committed, you are free to date other men. You're free to get to know other men. And remember, we are not having sex with anyone, okay? Because we don't have casual sex. So, I digress. But leading with this energy, this anxious, nervous energy that says, all men are bad for me. All men want to hurt me. Or there's this possibility of me getting my heart broke. Okay, well, then maybe you're not ready to date. Maybe you're not ready to be back out here again. Let me tell you something. Love is a risky game, but so is anything you want that is worthwhile. You have to take the uncertainty along the way if you want the ultimate payoff. What's the ultimate payoff? A long-term, happy, healthy relationship, or a long-term, happy, healthy marriage, right? If you're paralyzed by the uncertain outcomes in love, then you will never find love. Remember what I always say, love and life is risk. You have to be willing to risk. There are no guarantees. So when it comes to love and dating, all you can control, ladies, is you and what you're going to do. And I want you to control the heck out of that, right? You can't control the men you date. And because you can't control them, there is no value in constantly worrying about what they're going to do. Like we control us and what we're going to do. And so I don't leave a date, a really great date, right? A really wonderful night out with someone that I felt chemistry with, that I felt like, wow, I really like this guy. He's really interesting. I'm really curious about him. But I don't leave that date now worrying and fretting over what he thinks about me, what this is going to be. Do we have a future together? Is he the one? No, I just go, wow, okay. I really had a great time. That was really interesting. I'm really curious about him. But chances are I have other men that I am dating or talking with on the phone or texting. And so I kind of, enjoy that date. I enjoy that present moment. And then I go on. And remember, until it is something, it is nothing. And that's it. I want you to be more present focused. I don't want you to leave a great date and go home and name all of your children and pick out your house and all of that. No, because we just don't know yet. We just don't know. But sure, enjoy the fact that, wow, I made a really great connection with a great man, when we went out. That was wonderful. That's it. Okay? But it's really important to process through your pain from past relationships, past marriages. Get the lessons, because the lessons are what you need so you don't repeat or retake the test, because if you don't get the lesson, right, the test will come again, you will fail again, and then you won't get the lesson and it'll come again and you'll fail again. No, get the lesson. So if that test comes again, you will pass with flying colors. Okay? But leading with this energy that, the assuming energy that, yep, he is up to no good. He's going to hurt me. He's going to do something to hurt me or betray my trust. And these are the women that snoop. These are the women that go through phones. These are the women that snoop through drawers or go through cars. These are those women. And honestly, if that's where you're at, if you're at a place where you just can't help yourself and you're just doing this to a guy that you've just started dating, you don't have any business dating. Like, you're not ready. You need to sit down somewhere, get help, heal. You need to get a therapist or a love coach and really work through some of these issues, because you're just not ready. If you have this idea of, I'm going to look for something because and some women will tell me, oh, it's a feeling I have. Okay, I'm as intuitive as the next person, but for the most part, it'd have to be a pretty strong feeling and even then, I'm still not going to look through a man's phone. I'm not going to snoop. I'm just past all of that. I'm going to just very directly tell him, I could be wrong about this, but I just have this feeling. I have this, gut instinct that, and then I'm going to tell him. And I'm going to say, what do you think about that? That's it. I'm a grown up. I am not going to snoop. I'm just going to verbalize the gut instinct that I'm having. And then I'm going to gauge his response to the gut instinct. That's going to give me even more information about my gut instinct. But this whole attitude of I have to snoop, I have to look through the phone, I have to look through his texts or look through his social media. No, that's, again, as they say, you go looking for something, you're going to find it. And here's the thing about this confirmation bias. You can take anything and turn it into something that supports what it is you're thinking. So, no, I want you to give up on that. I want you to feel good about, I am a smart, intelligent woman. I am intuitive. I am expressive. I am communicating any thoughts and feelings that I'm having. And I am relaxing. I am enjoying. I am having fun. I'm allowing things to unfold at a pretty normal, natural pace. Not a snail's pace and not a quick pace, but a pretty normal, natural pace. If I have any concerns, if I have any insecurities or anything that I want to address, I'm communicating them in a way that is not projecting, but that is asking or expressing. And remember, we're staying on our side of the street. We're saying, I'm feeling, or I felt, or I feel. What do you think about that? Okay, so we're not going in with the projecting, and that looks like you told me you were going to bed last night, and then when I called you back, you didn't answer, and then I drove by and I saw that your car wasn't out front. So clearly you were doing something. You weren't sleeping, or you were out with some other woman, or you were doing this, or you were doing that. That is projecting. That is you taking a feeling or a thought that you have that you think happened and projecting it on that person. That's assuming. Instead, you're speaking from I feel. And you are always welcome to say how you feel, how something is making you feel. And then you're asking, am I right? Am I right about that? Or what do you think about that? Very different energy. When we come at a man with this very different energy, we're going to get a very different response. But first things first, we have to check ourselves. We've got to make sure that we are in the best space possible to go out and engage with men and entertain men, date men, and that we're not doing it from a place of being bitter, being hurt, being angry, just believing that all men are bad, they're wrong, they're out to hurt us, and that all men are cheaters. If you honestly believe that, you should not be engaging with men. You should not be dating men, because you are going to get exactly what you're thinking. So you've got work to do. That's just letting you know you have work to do within yourself. And take some time and do that work. I know that's something I've had to do off and on for years. I have had 5, 6, 7 years of not dating, not being in a relationship, and just doing that inner work and making sure I am re-engaging with men from a good, healthy place, from a place that says, yes, I am actually going to confidently state and think that men are good for me, that men are providers and protectors, that men want to participate in my happiness. They want to be a part of that. How can I show them how to do that? That's it. and that most men are not out to get me. Most men are not going to cheat on me. Most men are not going to lie. Most men are not narcissistic jerks. No, most men are good men. I mean, like I said, a lot of them are clueless, but they're not stupid. So making sure that you're doing the work necessary to get you to this good place. Remember, working with a coach is always a good idea, especially if you find yourself in these same types of relationships or dating the same types of men. It's time to make a change. It's time to do something different. Because here's the thing. You stay on this mindset or this very negative way of thinking, it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to get more of the same, over and over and over, the same type of guy, the same type of relationship. So at some point, you have got to drop your story. This negative story about exes from the past, things that they've done. You can't do anything about what's already happened. I have told myself that more than a few times, and there have been a lot of crazy things that have happened in my past. But thankfully, it is in my past. What excites me about the future is I actually can do something about it. I actually have the power to create the future that I want to have. And I have got to, just like all of you, I've got to do the work necessary to consciously create the future, not out of a subconscious thought or idea or paradigm, but out of something that now I clearly see. I see the pattern, I stop that pattern, and I do something different. That is going to guarantee me a different result because I'm doing something totally different. So that is your power. And if I want to do anything at all with my podcast, with my platform, I want to empower women. I want us to finally see and believe that the relationships that we want to have, the men that we want to date and we want to be in relationship with and be engaged to and be married to, we have the power to co-create that. We need to do our part. We need to do our work. We need to be accountable for the choices that we're making. We need to make better choices and choose better men. And we need to see those men exist. Those men exist. They're out there. And so we want to make ourselves ready and available for those men. And we do not want to make ourselves available for the other men. Like, I am no longer available for the foolishness. I am no longer available for the non-committal, the liars, the cheaters, the narcissists, the physical or emotional abuse, the financial abuse, the mama's boys. I could go on and on. The Mr. Nice Guys. I am no longer available to those men. I am only available to the men who are emotionally healthy, who are masculine energy men, the good men, the providers, the protectors. Those are the men I want to make myself available to. And I want you to do the same. That is the purpose of my platform, is to empower you. I believe we as women have the ability to change this entire dating and relationship narrative. We expect more. We expect better. And we don't receive anything less. And then the men who want to engage us will have to be that. And so that's what I want to see happen. I want to see you expect more, and I want to see you wait for that. And then that is what will happen. So thank you so much for listening this week. I so appreciate everyone who listens, who writes to me, who sends me messages, who follows me on Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram at Better Love Movement. Also, please head on over to the Facebook page, Better Love Movement. Like the page. Feel free to send me a question if you have one, and I can answer it on the podcast. But thank you so much for listening. And as always, stay open to love. Thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. If you are enjoying this podcast, please leave me a 5-star rating and review. Your ratings and reviews help me to continue to bring you more great content. Head on over to YouTube and check out the Better Love Movement channel. There's more video content there, and you can subscribe to be notified when a new video is posted. If you have a question that you would like to have answered on the podcast or in a YouTube video, please send it to me at info@betterlovemovement.com. You can also connect with me directly on the Magnify app to have your dating and relationship questions answered. That's Magnifi, and it's available on iOS and Android. You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.